Okay. Tournament starts in 4 minutes. We're just kind of waiting for things to... Just kind of waiting. Trumbeak, Blitzel, Chansey, Alomomola. Pretty garbage. Let's connect. Torkoal would be fun. Tentacool. I've already got one. Dunsparce would be nice if I could guarantee a 3 tail. School of it, don't care. Flamigo. Flamigo would be fun. Palooza. Litwick, hey. Litwick. Charge a bug. And Whooper. Forgot a Whooper. Bonsley? Really? There might not be enough entrants for this tournament to happen. We'll have to wait. We got 15 minutes to wait, so I guess we'll see. Maybe this will just be canceled, which is great practice. Ugh. Oh, you guys probably want to see the team, assuming things actually happen. So let me bring it up. Oh, wrong one. So this is the team. It's kind of... I like it. I mean, I think it's good. I locked my camera. No. So, the idea is that we follow me into Trick Room, either with Hatterene or Gallade. This team was built for Rampardos to have Dragon Cheer, but since that's currently bugged, I had to take that off for the tournament for today. Hopefully, by the time Knoxville comes around, Dragon Cheer will be available, and then Gallade will be a monster. But Gallade will also have Scope Lens instead of Life Orb. But until that happens, this is what I'm practicing with. I think it'll be pretty good. I'm not very strong into Amoonguss and King Gambit from my practice sessions with this online so far. But I think it will go okay. Because I think even with Amoonguss and King Gambit, I think I'll be able to get past that. Also, Talonflame and Iron Valiant are on the team specifically for Amoonguss and King Gambit. So if I see those on the opposing side, then on the second or third game, I can bring those in, and it shouldn't be an issue. So there's a good chance this tournament is not going to happen today. But that's alright. At least not this one. I'll go into the... There's going to be one at 1 o'clock today, 1 p.m. So in 5 hours. So I can be on that one. So let me go through a little bit more of the team, I guess. So Gallade's got Sacred Sword, Leaf Blade, and Cycle Cut. Leaf Blade and Cycle Cut have increased crit chances, and Sacred Sword bypasses defense boosts. Sacred Sword is there mostly for our Caledon and any other steel or dark types that show up. There's a good chance that there's almost certainly going to be Infernapes. So Sacred Sword's going to take care of that pretty well as against any normal Terra Dragonites, any Chien-Paos, Entei, if there's a normal Terra Entei, anything that's normal Terra, really. Rampardos is there for Dragon Cheer, but also because he is a monster damage-wise. If I could have given him Sheer Force over Mold Breaker and still get the flinch on Rock Slide, I would have kept him on Sheer Force. But with Mold Breaker, originally Rampardos was going to be giving Dragon Cheer to Gholdengo, so I could have Trick Room, Make It Rains, where we don't care about the stat drops. Unfortunately, that requires Gholdengo to be a Dragon type to pull that off, and I really don't like that idea of making... I mean, it can work, but Gholdengo's kind of fast for Trick Room as well. So it didn't feel like a good option. So I just kept it. I kept it Mold Breaker because I want the flinches from Rock Slide. And I gave him Wide Lens to make Rock Slide and Hammer Arm hit more often. Indeedee and Hatterene are pretty standard. Indeedee's got Rocky Helmet and Grass Terra to avoid being spored, and also for Water Urshifus. Hatterene has Magic Bounce, which will be really nice, and Covert Cloak to avoid Rock Slide flinches when we were trying to get Trick Room. Try to get Trick Room set up. And has Expanding Force, and she is the strongest Expanding Force user in the game that isn't booster energied. So I think Iron Crown does more damage with Expanding Force if it's got a booster, but if you don't have a booster, then Hatterene is base damage wise the strongest Expanding Force user. And so putting her under Trick Room and having Expanding Force is pretty massive. Dazzling Gleam is pretty standard. I'm going to be able to hit the dragons and Chien-Pao with good damage. Dazzling Gleam over on Indeedee as well. Terra Blast Ground and the Ground Terra are for King Gambits and Incineroars, and anything that would resist Dazzling Gleam or Expanding Force. Which won't help against something like a Corviknight, but I can't imagine I'm going to encounter many Corviknights, and if I do, Rampardos is there to back it up. Talonflame has Gale Wings and Safety Goggles. Gale Wings is pretty obvious. You want the Tailwind and Defog and Brave Bird to go first. Oh, okay. It looks like the tournament's going to go anyway with the same prizes regardless. So it does look like we're going to be playing. Okay. Well. Okay. I've got Tailwind. Tailwind's obvious. Brave Bird's obvious. Flare Blitz is obvious. Defog is an interesting tech with Gale Wings. I wanted to remove the Psychic terrain and other terrains, as well as things like Aurora Veil, Light Screen, Reflect, and Defog does all of that. And since it's on a Gale Wings Talonflame, it can happen immediately as soon as Talonflame comes out. So I'm really kind of excited to use that. It also lowers the evasion on my opponent's side. So things like Rock Slide and Hammer Arm will hit 100% of the time, as well as any other. I think everything else is 100% hit rate anyway. So, but I really wanted to be able to get rid of Expanding Force on my opponent's side of the field, as well as electric terrain or grassy terrain. So that's what Defog's there for. And then you can follow it up with a Tailwind or Brave Bird, Flare Blitz, whatever. Iron Valiant has a Focus Sash. Iron Valiant is the fastest Expanding Force user, outside of boosters. With booster, Iron Valiant is still the fastest Expanding Force user, and its special attack is pretty high. It's not like the highest, but it's pretty good. It's a base 120, so I wanted to have additional Expanding Force options for a fast side of the team, in case something like Trick Room didn't look like a good option. And then we've got Aura Sphere for the dark types, Shadow Ball for the Flutter mains, and Moonblast is just a solid fairy type special attack. I'm not running Protect on anything, which is kind of, it feels kind of sketchy to me. But I don't want to waste time in Trick Room, because if I'm protecting in Trick Room, then something has gone wrong. With Psychic Surge, I should be avoiding any and almost all fake outs, so I shouldn't have to worry about being instantly flinched. I'll be avoiding Sucker Punches, Thunderclaps, Extreme Speeds, all of which are really popular right now. So Psychic Surge is a really big boon for those kinds of teams, and it's a really strong counter to it, especially with Expanding Force as a backup, as the backup damage, and the damage on Iron Valiant as well. But I don't have Protect on anything, which could be an issue at times, but if I haven't won by the time Trick Room is over, there's a good chance I'm going to lose in general. So it's kind of sketchy that way, but I don't know. We'll have to see how the games go, really. But that's the thought process behind the team. Leafblade was originally there for Dondozos, because Dondozo can be kind of a counter to this team, just because of how bulky they become. But that's why I have Sacred Sword and Leafblade, so that we can crit or ignore the defenses of a Dondozo, the defense boosts of a Dondozo, and try to go through that. I don't really have a good answer into them otherwise, unfortunately, outside of just hitting them with strong Expanding Forces or Rock Slide flinches or Hammer Arms, I guess. Iron Head flinches. Probably not Iron Head, though. Yeah, so that's it. That's the team. it looks like things are probably going to happen. They're going to be taking a few minutes to kick people out who didn't pay, and this is a paid tournament, and they're gonna get things set up, I guess. So went from 51 to 34. And I guess we'll see how many people are playing. I'll take my sweatshirt off. It's getting kind of warm. Worried about you guys seeing my stomach. I'm just gonna do it off screen. It's a lot easier. I'm gonna walk away for a minute and get a little bit of food, and then come right back. All right.